What is up, everybody, and welcome to episode 6 of the Gravel Underdogs podcast. This is going to be a very exciting podcast, not because there was any cool races that happened or anything, but because we have our first guest on the pod. Welcome, Cobe Freeburn.
Hello.
Say hello or something.
Or something.
Yeah, we have Cobe on the podcast. Today we're gonna get to interview Cobe and talk about his previous race results and how he's feeling going into the 2026 season. We're gonna talk about Rattlesnake Gravel that happened over the weekend. Talk about some upcoming races. Tech talk. Chase went to the wind tunnel last weekend. Yeah, we got some stuff to dive into. I think first we need to start with Chase apologizing for some misspoken words on the previous episode. So Chase, go ahead.
Yeah. So last week I said Pete Stetna ran a stop sign, and that was
Midsouth.
later saw a video, and it was not Pete. It was one younger kid and another rider. So the goal with Gravel Underdogs is providing factual information, and I did not there, so I needed a little rebuttal. Plus, Cobe, we will cover this later, has a relationship with Pete Stetna, so yeah, excited to get into all of your background. And yeah, I guess first question, Cobe, is like, how did you end up riding a bike and getting into gravel racing specifically?
Yeah. Thanks for having me on to start. Growing up in Durango, I'm from Durango, Colorado, for those who don't know. Just like growing up here, biking is such a big part of the culture and part of the town. It was just kind of like a thing that I always did with my parents, and my older sister always biked, and I would always kind of just get dragged along, and I wasn't very good at it and sucked at it for a long time. And then they have like a Durango, they have like a junior program for like cycling, and that you can start with like Strider bikes and go all the way up until high school. And it's like Durango Devo. And started doing that pretty young and didn't like it very much. And then like in middle school started to get into it more and like had some friends doing it. And it was like more fun. I got a bit faster, didn't crash as much. And then in high school with Nika, just kind of got more into it. And then that continued into college and raced for Fort Lewis cycling here in Durango. And then kind of started racing gravel at the very end of my last year in school. And then it just kind of stuck.
So you were on a bike like before middle school,
Yeah, I would
like
think
practicing technically
technically,
in
sort
a
of.
roundabout way.
I was getting
Yeah,
dragged around, but yeah,
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 that counts, I guess.
yeah. I think
Do you remember your first win ever in any race?
I think it was like I think it was either like a small local race or like a Nika race my like sophomore year. Um,
Okay, so not to like high school.
yeah, I didn't win
Okay.
much. I was
Good
very
to know.
bad.
Who's like the biggest cycling name you grew up with? Like Sepp is from there. I
Yeah.
think Quinn and
Oh, I mean, there's a lot of people like kind of my age and a bit older, but mostly like Todd Wells. I remember when I was a little kid seeing him and like going to like his Olympic send-off party. I think when I was like 8 years old or 9 years old or something. I thought that was really cool. I like had his poster in my wall for like a long time. Um, yeah, I think yeah, Todd Wells is probably the one I looked up to most. And then Howard Gratz and Chris Blevins and other guys like that came along later. Um, yeah.
Did you ride with those guys? Like training rides and stuff when you were in high school, maybe? Or not
They'd be
really?
on the group rides sometimes. Like we have a Tuesday night group ride, and I remember going on my very first one when I was like 15, and Ned Overend was there, first mountain bike world champion. He's in his 70s now, but he still goes on the group ride. Um, I remember being there and talking to him, and he was super nice, just like a really, really nice guy.
Durango like really gets into the mount or just biking stuff. Did you end up going to the Sep like when he won the Volta? It looked like there was a big party in town also for that.
Yeah, there was like a big bike parade and just like, yeah, it was super cool. Tons of people from out of town came out, and like everyone from in town went out, and it was really cool. I've known Sep since I was kind of young. My parents know his parents, and he's just like a super nice, down to earth guy.
Dang. And then transitioning to Fort Lewis, you just race mostly mountain bike there, or did you do collegiate road racing as well?
I just did mountain and cross. I didn't do
Okay.
any road.
And you
It was
went
always busy. I was trying to race mountain bike World Cup stuff, so we were like busy in the spring doing a lot of mountain bike UCI stuff.
you went for, I think I remember, computer science.
Yep, computer science.
Yeah. Okay.
Things you.
Yeah. Uh Dang. And you what so you went Durango Devo. Did you end up on a different Devo team later on?
Yeah, I ended up on Bear development, kind of through college, and yeah, kind of that Trek connection started there. And that was super special. Really fortunate to be a part of that program, and just kind of like got the ball rolling for racing bigger and bigger stuff. Um, yeah, it just kind of gave good opportunity, allowed me to do a lot of things.
What year did you end up graduating?
I graduated December of 2024, so like a little less
Okay.
than a year and a half ago.
Okay. And then 2024 is when would you say that's when you had like your big breakthrough results, especially on the gravel side? Or was there
Yeah,
big results before then?
yeah, I'd say I was pretty mediocre to bad before that. I did some of my first gravel stuff. I did one local gravel race in like 2022, and that was super fun. Like Payson was there and some other guys. And then I did BWR Arizona the very first year it happened in 2023, and just like horrible bike setup. Like didn't know how much to eat. Like went way too hard. I think I was like top 10 for the first 5 hours, and then blew up and sat on the ground for like half an hour, and then ended up at like 7 hours or something ridiculous. Um, and then I went over to Europe and raced some World Cups and sucked at those. Came back and then raced gravel nats the first year in Nebraska, and like
Yeah.
double flatted and just like had a pretty miserable time. And then I did the rad and I had fun at the rad. So that's kind of what got it going. But then 2024 is really like beginning of Bear Gravel was really special. And that started going to more and more races.
And then you did Rad 2023 and 2024?
Yeah.
And then 2024, which did you get top 10 at the Rad?
No, I think I was maybe like 17th the first year and then maybe like 18th or 19th the next year.
Oh,
Um, yeah, I think I didn't do as well the second year. But then I went to Worlds in Belgium like the next day or something. It was just like a crazy turnover.
jeez. You had a viral Instagram reel from that race, didn't you?
Yeah. Yeah, I like had like an Insta 360 camera and like put it in my helmet and then like recorded like the first 20 minutes until the camera died, and it was just like crazy chaotic race. Super fun. Um but it missed like some of the best stuff later in the race. Like I was with Greg Van Avermaet at one point, and like all the crowds were just going crazy for him, and just like it was a super cool, unique experience.
Was that your only time you went to Worlds then?
Yeah, yeah. One and only.
Gotcha. And then 2024, if I remember it, you had a really good result at Big Sugar kind of to end the season. Was
Yeah,
that a top
I
10?
was 11th. I lost the sprint to Lance. He got 10th.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And from there, did you have goals of going into the Lifetime Grand Prix in
Oh
2025?
yeah. Yeah, that was definitely the hope. Yeah, I like it makes sense after they figured out after like who they put in, all the Euros and all the other people, but I was pretty bummed originally to like not get in 2025, but it all worked out. It all made sense.
Yeah, I definitely thought you and Henry Nelson were going to make it into the Grand Prix in 2025 because it was just like
Yeah.
everyone in the Grand Prix at that point was pretty old. Or like, I shouldn't say old, but it was mostly 30-ish year olds. And then you and Henry were like these young 20-year-olds and yeah, cracking good results. But so when
Yeah.
you didn't get into the Grand Prix, what was the plan then for 2025?
The loose plan was to go for the wild card, but I didn't really want to do Unbound. So I was just like, I wasn't too bummed that I performed very poorly at Sea Otter last year, and I wasn't too bummed about that. Um, Made it so I didn't have to go to Unbound, which was kind of nice. I could just stay home for a bit longer, race some Colorado stuff.
And
Um, but yeah,
speaking of the Colorado stuff, if I remember right, you went on like the biggest. I mean, they're kind of local stuff, but any local Colorado race is probably crazy strong. How big? You went on a crazy win streak. How many races did you end up winning that year? And there was
I
good
think it
prize
was.
money too, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was really good prize money. That's kind of why I was happy to not do Unbound, is because I could just stay home and rack up the prize money. I think it was 5 wins in a row, but then third at Steamboat and then first at Silver Rush. So if Steamboat would have been a little bit better, would have been 7 in a row. But yeah, it was way better than I expected. Just like the best form I had all year by far.
And then, how did your season end?
Ended good. It was a little weird with Big Sugar, Little Sugar being odd. But yeah, after kind of the May, June into July block in Colorado, I did Leadville, and that was not too bad, not great. And then Gravel Nats, Schwamigan, and I was pretty proud of both of those. I definitely um, didn't do quite as well at Gravel Nats as I was hoping. Just like wasn't able to catch you guys at the end. Um, yeah, and then Little Sugar was okay. Crashed a few times, just kind of like didn't pre-ride anything,
You
but
didn't.
still ended up in the top 10.
You didn't pre-ride anything.
I guess I pre-rode the first like 2 miles to like the hill, and then looked at the hill and was like, oh, I don't want to go up that. And then I rode out to like the bike path, and then rode like the little bike path section to the end. So I maybe got like 5 miles.
Why didn't you pre-ride?
I just didn't care. Like I got out there pretty late, and I think my flight also. I think there was some issue with my flight, or I can't remember exactly what it was, but I didn't get there super early, and I was just like, oh, it's fine. Um, Definitely Big Sugar was like the main focus. Yeah, so I just didn't pre-ride anything, and then just like it showed, I made some mistakes that took me out of like contention for the top 5.
What'd you think of the course since you didn't get to see it before
I
the
thought it was
race?
fun.
Yeah.
Definitely way easier to follow people than to lead. Just like every time I was like in at the front of a group, I just like didn't know where I was going, so I was trying to be like second or third wheel the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
Some of the chunkier parts definitely surprised me, but it all worked out. I didn't have any issues, no mechanicals,
You had no
Did you?
flats.
Yeah, that's
no
impressive.
flats.
What tires
Whoa.
did you run?
Oh, I ran the thinnest, lightest Schwalbe Rick on the front, and then I ran, I think, the thinnest Continental Dubnatal on the rear.
That's crazy.
Oh,
You got so lucky,
I
or you're
yeah,
just
I ran
really
inserts,
skilled.
so it was like I think I just rode really gently,
Yeah.
and I like had inserts and was never trying to push anywhere.
Yeah.
Because like at one point I was in a group of like 10 or 12 guys, and every time someone would go to the front, they'd either flat or crash, and it was just like I think Michael Vandenham crashed or flatted, and then Drew Dillman crashed, and like everyone else just had issues, and I just kind of floated through and didn't have issues. but I do not recommend that tire setup.
Did you ride through the ledges without like dabbing or anything?
I think I put my foot down on one of the corners, like one of the sections. That's really awkward.
Okay.
But the
pretty
rest was good.
That's
Yeah.
pretty good.
I think I was following someone at
Yeah.
that point, so I think I was okay. Maybe Keegan or maybe someone. Keegan with all of his issues, we went back and forth for like 20 miles.
Are you a big like pre-riding person? Like Midsouth?
Not really.
No.
No, I pre-rode all of Midsouth last year,
Mhm.
so I knew what was coming up because it was the same. So like on that kind of like spring section where Griffin crashed, I knew that was coming up. Sea Otter, easy to pre-ride. If it's like a lot of work to pre-ride it, then I usually won't. But if it's like makes sense and it's easy, then I will.
Gotcha. So no on-bound pre-ride.
Probably not.
No.
I'll look at it. I'll ask Toby what he does because
Yeah.
he usually pre-rides the whole thing.
Did Toby pre-rode?
So you haven't done unbound
Nope,
before?
not yet. I'm pretty nervous
Okay.
about it.
Cool.
Are you gonna do
I don't think so.
a big block or just kind of?
I'm not sure yet. I think I'll just kind of hopefully not change too much, maybe add a bit more volume, but I think that's really what would mess me up is if I did a lot more volume and then raced. I think they would just be like too much fatigue afterwards or something.
Are you doing the truck? Yeah. Are you doing the trucker?
Yeah, I'll do the Traka 200.
Okay.
So definitely not prepared for the 330 or 360 or whatever it is.
Hey, that's okay. The 200 looks like a gnarly 200. So
It's still like 6.5 hours for the winter.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's a long race for me.
Dang. So then, yeah, I guess you crushed 2025, and now you're in the Lifetime Grand Prix. Our first few races are done. You started your season off with BWR Arizona. If I'm being honest,
Yeah.
I don't remember you in the race at all. What
I wasn't.
what happened there?
Oh, pretty early on, I wasn't feeling great. I was just like, I had a pretty big week of training before and was just like not well rested for it. But then once we hit the first gravel section, both my hoods were loose and they just like slipped and dropped like 4 inches. And then I could just move them freely for like the next hour and a half. So I was just like,
Was it a brand new bike?
it was like it was relatively new. But yeah, it's just like it wasn't tight enough. And then so I was like asking everyone in the group for a tool, and no one had one. And then eventually Cayenne gave me one for like the big climb, and I like was spending like the whole climb trying to like tighten them, and I couldn't get them tight enough. And then got to like RC, our team manager, at the top of the climb, and she like gave me a tool, and like I got it relatively good. And then I was going down the next big descent, and like instantly like hit one big compression, and then like my left one slips down like another 4 inches and was like super inward. So I was just like rode the rest of the race. I rode until like whatever the next 30 miles or 20 miles until I found other mechanics and was able to fix that. And then I just did all of McDowell alone and didn't see anyone. So it was pretty mediocre, but it was not my best showing.
At least you had drops, so you didn't lose your hoods when they slipped off.
Yeah, if I had your setup, they would have just fallen off completely.
Yeah, I don't know if you know this, but my hoods also slipped on during that race. Yeah,
That would be so
it
scary.
was scary, but luckily they.
But you've learned from your mistake, right, Chase? And you were going to run drops.
That's true.
Is that true?
I just wind tunnel tested it, and no drops was slower than drops.
I guess that makes sense. It disperses the wind in front of your legs.
There you go.
So, but I'm running 30 centimeter bars now. So, yeah.
Oh,
If I can handle
narrow.
them, fine.
Is that safer?
Yeah, it was like 18 watts faster.
I guess at the rest of the races, it's not too technical for like maybe Sea Otter's kind of turny.
Yeah, I'll bring like 3 different sets of handlebars out to Sea Otter, but
Way more.
Most people bring like 3 sets of tires, and you're going to be
yeah.
bringing 3 sets of handlebars. You're probably
The
the
bad
only
thing
one
is
that's
I
going
only
to do
have
that.
2 of the pairs have the chopped handlebars, and I don't know if I'll have ones with drops before then. So, yeah.
You can get some
But,
by then.
You got a month.
Just ask Profile Design nicely.
okay, so BWR Arizona didn't go too well, and then you skipped Valley of Tears. That was a race you did pretty good at last year, I thought. Or wait, no, you DNF'd, didn't you, last year?
So last year I finished, but I was going to
Okay.
DNF. I did well in the crit, and I was happy with that. And then for the next day, since it was like raining and snowing and pretty rough weather, I like wore this rain jacket that was just like a parachute. So it was just like horrible decision. And it didn't even really rain that much. And then so I was just like suffering all day, kept getting like dropped from groups, and then eventually took off the rain jacket, felt better, and then got to like the muddy section, and I ran the biggest tires I could fit on my bike, and just bike completely stopped working, like stopped moving. Um, yeah, it was just like horrible. I took off all the paint and some of the carbon on the frame. Um, yeah, mechanic said it's fine, hopefully. I mean, I don't ride it anymore, but
Was it a checkmate or checkpoint?
checkmate. So I wish I had
Okay.
the checkpoint for that one. I know Russell raced that and he liked it. But yeah, and then I was just like super far back. And then we went around back into town and I was gonna pull out and then someone said the race was over, so no DNF.
Perfect. Is that why you skipped Valley of Tears this year, or
Partially,
did you kind of?
yeah, I skipped BWR last year because I didn't want to do 3 in a row. And I figured I didn't really want to do 3 in a row to start the year this year. Um, so Valley of Tears was the one to miss out of all of them from, I don't know. I didn't want it to snow and be bad weather again.
Miserable. You didn't want that crit money?
Well, after watching the crit, I kind of did. I think I would have been perfect for me and Dax. Just like, I think we could go back and forth on it pretty good. Um, but Mid-South seemed like more fun to do that one.
When did you roll into town for Midsouth this year?
Wednesday afternoon. I was supposed to be there
Okay.
Tuesday, but my flight got canceled coming out of Tucson.
Okay.
So stayed an extra night in Tucson.
And then, yeah, I guess we can hop into how your Mid-South played out. What going into the race, what was the strategy for you and the driftless? Well, it was just you and Daxon, I guess. So, yeah, did you
Yeah.
guys have a game plan?
Yeah, we had a pretty loose game plan. The hope was just like be in any move that goes or just be at the front. Um, yeah, we didn't really think too deeply about it, which I thought was good. The girls were Cecile and Paige were like planning and like had actually good strategy. Dax and I did not. We just kind of like figured get one of us in the front and hope for the best. So yeah, so it worked out pretty well. I think like at the beginning he covered a few moves and then I spent like the next like hour and a half, pretty much until the train covering as many moves as I could. Um, yeah, and then we made it to the final group and worked out pretty well from there. We just kind of like tried not to, we just never wanted to chase back each other and just like not work against each other more than anything else.
How'd the end of the race play out? Like the last 10 miles?
Um, I'll back up a bit before that. So like before the once we dropped Brennan, or once Brennan flatted, then it was just 6 of us, and like Dax and I were kind of communicating, trying to figure out kind of what to do. I told him I was going to like attack out of the river, but Admiral Bears attacked into the river, which I was surprised by, and then I punched it pretty hard out of the river, and Cam and I were kind of relaying for a bit, but the rest of the group was on on our wheel, so it was a bit hard. And I just kind of sat up and figured I would wait until maybe the next kind of double track section. And then we were going up kind of a long-ish roller before the double track section. And I wasn't really paying that much attention, but I looked around. I think I was fifth wheel, and it was Michael smashing on the front, and then Cam in second, and then Pete and Adam and me and Daxton. And I look around Adam, and he's like letting the wheel go to Pete, but then Pete's letting the wheel go to them, to Cam and Michael. So then I just like punched around those two and made it a group of three, and then we rolled pretty good until the finish. A few attacks by Cam, but not too much. I would pull through a little bit and then skip a pull or skip two pulls and then pull through. Just kind of like trying to keep them happy, but they definitely were stronger than me.
So Daxton wasn't with you like going into the finish.
Mm-mm. He was
Okay.
just in that second group. From shortly after the river.
I wasn't sure if you guys were able to do like some team tactics the last couple miles or not, but
that was the hope.
Like not.
Something we talked about was just like if we can make it to like the final 5 miles or 10 miles or whatever together, to like try rolling attacks, but we never quite made it that far.
And then you won.
And then I won. I didn't expect that at all. I was fully expecting to just get smashed in the sprint, just because Michael and Cam are a bit bigger than me and typically way stronger than me in a sprint. But I think I just kind of timed it well. I like sat third wheel on the last straightaway, and then got the jump on them, and was able to save some energy earlier in the day.
Who let out like that? The last road stretch, or maybe before the right turn into the sprint finish, who was like leading that section?
Cam was. We like pulled through a little bit until like that bridge part on the road where you do like a quick left and then the right onto the finish.
Yeah.
And I think I was like first or second wheel for the left, but I like took it really wide and was like on the brakes. So those two got around me, and I just slotted into third wheel, and it was Cam, Michael. I think it was Cam, Michael, and then me.
I'm sure Cam thought he had it in the bag.
Yeah,
He didn't think he would come around.
Looking at the power that he did, he should have won. And like there was one photo of like him super aero and like super low to the ground, and I'm just like fully straight up, like Johnny Milan style.
Wait, it worked.
You hit 1,400 watts in your sprint. I have your. Yeah, that's a lot.
He hit 1,600. Cam hit 1,600.
Jesus Christ!
Holy smokes!
Seated probably.
He stood up, but I had to sit down at the end of the sprint.
Wait, were you wearing a skin suit, or was that bibs and jersey?
Bibs and jersey.
What the heck?
Yeah, I didn't get my Pro Zoom stuff until, I still haven't gotten it yet, but I think next week. So just stock bibs and jersey, and then I wore like a aero base layer underneath.
Oh, I do remember seeing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, was there any, like, from the gun, did you know you were probably going to have a good day? Because about an hour in, I was dead, and I'm like, this has been really hard, right? And you're like, like, kind of not really. And I'm just like, this sucks if, like, Kobe's thinking it's easy, and Daxton looked like he was not dead. Like, everyone else looked pretty fresh in the group, and I felt like I was dead. But yeah,
I thought you were doing. Like, yeah, I didn't have any expectations for this race or for Midsouth. I was just didn't think I would perform well, based off of kind of BWR not going super smoothly. So that's kind of why I was like marking a lot of moves early, just like I would make sure Daxton doesn't have to work as much. So I think that's kind of why the numbers were so high in the first hour and a half. But I was feeling good, but I still wasn't very confident that I'd like make it far into the race. But yeah, it was just like hard. I think like because shortly after you and Henry got dropped out of the group, we lost a lot of other people pretty quickly. And then a lot of those people got caught by like group 2, whatever, like Julian and Joe Gettle and some of those guys. So it was a hard start.
Yeah, it was. Cam and Brennan were smashing it, and Michael.
Yeah, and Michael.
Yeah.
Michael just kept riding off the front.
Yeah. Like,
I would love to see his power file from the race.
dude, it has to be crazy because, yeah, he was attacking over half the race, I feel like, at least when I was in it. So,
yeah, he kept going after.
Would this be, is this your proudest, like, result or best result ever, you think?
I'd say this is my biggest result and my best result, but I was really proud of Steamboat last year just because it was like the first time I've really been like at the front the whole race, like with Keegan and some of those bigger guys. It was just like a big confidence boost and like really like proved to myself that I could be at the front of some of these races. But yeah, Midsouth's definitely up there.
And then I guess we gotta talk about the bike setup on. So you're sponsored by Trek and Continental. I heard you were running 38 millimeter tires that I didn't know existed from one podcast. Another podcast, I heard you were running 32s. I thought with my own eyes you were running 19 millimeter tubulars, but what were you actually running?
I was actually running 45 Continental Terra speed.
Tubulars?
Not tubular.
I'm joking.
But I did run inserts. Yeah.
You ran inserts?
Yeah.
Whoa. Do you normally do that?
Messing around.
I like inserts. It depends on the course, depends on the tire, depends on the insert. It's just nice, like you can hit stuff and not break a wheel. I hit a lot of rocks.
What tire pressure were you running? Do you remember?
Way too low. Way more I think like 21, 23.
Whoa.
No, that sounds about right.
For 45s?
Yeah.
Dude, what?
That sounds plush. I think that's what I would run.
Yeah.
That's
I thought it was a bit low. Just like a lot of the square edge rocks, like I'd hit stuff and just like could feel my whole bike shake.
What?
But that's why you got the inserts.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You're good. There was a lot of like questioning in the men's field about what tires were right for the course. Do you feel like the 45s were like perfect?
I thought it was good for most of the course. I still like wasn't able to ride in the group for a lot of it. Like at the start when we went and it was all dusty and it was like the whole big group. I just like rode on the side of the peloton just so I could see what was in front of me because there's like rocks flying everywhere. I think doing that kind of stuff, and then like I'd have to ride certain lines and like give people gaps through certain areas. So it wasn't like you could just be glued onto someone's wheel like you could with like a 2.2 or like a 50 even. But I'd say probably for the finish it was the fastest.
For sure.
Yeah. I know that like Dylan and some of the other guy like Drew Dillman were talking about my tire choice and arguing about what's fastest and what's better. So I thought that was pretty funny.
We're not going to get into that controversy, but I do think you had the right tire setup for the day.
I think, yeah. It's hard to say.
I mean,
because like if I would
you
have flatted,
so
yeah, but like if I would have flatted, I would have been like, oh, this is a horrible tire choice.
it's true. That is true.
So it was a risk, but there's a big reward to it.
Quick aside, have you ever done any tire testing yourself? Like time testing or anything like that?
Very loosely.
Okay.
Not like I'll like go ride like a loop in Durango like a few times on like a tire, and then like I don't know, like a month later or whenever I switch tires, I switch to a different one, I'll like ride that loop again, and I don't know. They're like similar enough. It's
You
more
just
about like the
run,
feel.
yeah, you just run whatever you got like the previous KOM with. You're like, oh, this must
Kind
be
I
the
just
tire.
yeah.
Yeah.
I also just like look at whatever course and like if it's gonna be fast, usually I'll go narrower, but if it's like gonna be a bit slower, a bit rougher, a bit wider,
Yeah.
it seems to work all right.
Makes sense. Don't overthink it.
Yeah.
Anything. Oh, go ahead,
And were
Chase.
you on the? I was gonna ask, were you on the
I was on the
checkmate or
checkmate,
checkpoint?
so the more aero racier one.
Okay.
Do you have the checkpoint with the SLR carbon that they don't sell to the public?
I think so. I'm not 100%
Okay.
sure. I got whatever they sent me.
Yeah.
Um,
The
I
only
like it.
person
It's
I've
super
seen
fun
that
bike.
has that is Russell, or used to have it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then maybe. Um, I haven't checked. I don't know exactly which one it is, but
Okay.
yeah.
I wish they would sell
It's
that bike to the public. It's cool.
yeah. It's a sweet bike.
Dang. Okay. Yeah, I guess I can't. Anything else from
Um,
Mid-South that did you
I
go
did
to the
not.
DFL party?
I ended up going. I kind of pulled a Sophia and went home early Saturday. Um, yeah. I like.
You're
What?
Yeah.
No,
young, so
he's
I
Then
young.
don't
He
blame
should
you.
stay
Like,
out late and party.
it's okay.
yeah. I just like didn't. I wasn't expecting to do well, so I was just like, oh, I'll just get in late and leave early. Just like, yeah. I would like to stay next year.
It's a good time.
Yeah, you guys made it look pretty
Uh,
fun.
yeah, we'll make a
Yeah,
pro hill
Pro
that'll be
Hill's
fun.
where
gonna
all the
go
pros
crazy
can
next year.
come hang out and
That'll be sweet.
yeah. Sweet. I guess yeah. What now? Mid-South is done. You're in the Lifetime Grand Prix. Sea Otter's less than a month away. Do you have anything before then,
I
or
think
just
just sea
putting
otter.
hours
Yeah,
in
back home in
Durango?
Durango. Getting used to altitude again. Kind of struggling a bit with that. Um, yeah, sea otter's the next big one, and then Traka, and then back home, and then Unbound.
Do you have any goals for the
Um,
Lifetime Grand Prix?
yeah,
Being your first year. You don't have to give us like I want to do top 10, but just yeah,
yeah. I
any
think just
process
like if I
goals.
can perform well and like be happy with my performance at all or most of the races, I think that'd be good. Um, I was relatively happy with most of the races last year. Like Leadville was okay, and then Schwamigan was good. Little Sugar was okay. Big Sugar was chaotic, but not too bad. Yeah, if I can just kind of be happy with 5 of the 6, that'd be good. Of course, being in the top 10 would be pretty nice to get some money, but it's not the end of the world.
What race are you most looking forward to?
Either Schwamigan or Gravel Nationals.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah,
Interesting.
Wait,
Yeah.
what? Wait,
I
why
just think they're
those
really
two
fun.
races? Do you
Yeah,
just
I
like the
like it more than I
Midwest?
expected I would. It's just like nice and green and nice, and it was a bit warm for Gravel Nationals for like that week in between. But it's just a fun race. I think the course suits me pretty well. Just like 8 or 5 to 10 minute climbs, and then just kind of like rolling plateaus. Um, yeah, I just had a lot of fun last year. I thought it raced well, and then Schwamigan's fun just because it's like such a fast mountain bike race. It's hard to get. There's not that many out there in the U.S. these days, and I like to. It's still fun to get to race my mountain bike when I can.
Can you let me go in the early break
We'll
again
see.
at
We'll see what
Nationals?
Daxton has in mind. Um,
Yeah, bring Dax.
then
I'll
yeah,
bring
yeah,
Daxton
we can
with
do
me.
that.
Okay, perfect, sweet.
I
Dang.
wasn't
Yeah.
expecting that answer.
Okay.
What
What
were you expecting?
I
Yeah,
Leadville or
those are
something since
two.
you live at altitude.
Leadville's. It's not bad. I was just alone for a lot of it last year, so it was pretty boring.
Yeah.
I was either alone or with Russell, and then I'd like drop him on a climb, and he'd catch me on one of the flat parts, and then Same thing, like all day.
Where'd you finish last year at Leadville?
15th.
Okay, that's solid.
No
Did you
drop bars. I
did you
built
have
up a
drop
drop bar
bars on?
bike, but then last minute, since it was like so dry and loose, I just didn't feel as confident on it. But I wish I did, looking back at it, just because I was alone so much.
Yeah.
Which race are you least looking forward to, I guess
I
we
guess
can ask the
Unbound
opposite
probably.
question.
It's the one I'm most nervous about. It's like just the biggest unknown out of all the races I'm doing.
What's the longest race you've done before?
Would you
I guess Gravel Nationals a few years ago was like 130 miles.
Yeah.
But the longest ride I've done,
what you've done? Didn't
uh-uh,
you do gravel
not the
worlds?
one in, not the Nebraska one.
No. Oh,
You would love that race.
I
not
might
the
do it this
Nebraska one.
year.
I think you should.
Yeah, we'll see how I'm feeling after Leadville.
Unbound or Leadville, yeah.
Yeah, because it's August. I don't
Yeah.
do well in the heat, so I'm a little worried
Yeah.
about the heat aspect of that race.
It could be really hot.
Yeah.
Oh wait, speaking of heat, I feel like there was a lot of people with stomach issues at Midsouth. Did you
Yeah.
hit? And it wasn't like super hot, but did
Not
you
too
have any
bad.
stomach issues
A
there?
little. I didn't do enough sodium for sure. So I was like definitely not feeling amazing at the finish, but yeah, I wasn't throwing up or having any big issues, like some other people seem to. But it helped being in Tucson all winter, where it was like 80 pretty much all winter.
So it probably felt cool
Yeah.
after being in Tucson all winter.
It still was a bit warm, but it was like
Yeah.
there were some warmer days in Tucson for sure.
Yeah. It wasn't bad, but there was like it was all over the place. Some people were like it was so hot, and then some people were like, no, it was fine. I think
Yeah.
it just depended on where your winter training was based.
Yeah. I mean, if I was in Durango all winter, I would really be struggling. But I was fortunate to not be in quite as cold of weather.
Okay, wait. Sorry, I have another Mid-South question. Pro start on Friday and at 1 p.m. Were you a big fan or
liked it. The 1 p.m. start was a little weird, just with it being late. I know you talked about like not knowing what to do for eating and stuff. I found that part not too bad, just because racing cross country, we would race in the afternoon quite a bit. Like usually at like 2 or 3. So it wasn't too bad, just like you get used to doing that. But yeah, it was nice. I got to make some pancakes in the morning and then have some oatmeal for early lunch. It was not horrible. Yeah.
just carbs and more carbs? No, that's not too bad. Would you change anything?
I wouldn't
about
mind
Mid-South?
racing at like 11. I think
That's what I said.
no, 11 in the morning.
At night.
Yeah.
It
Seems
yeah.
way more reasonable.
Yeah, I think it'd be great. Like
Yeah.
just that way you don't have to wake up early. You can wake up at, I don't know, 3 hours before is usually when I try and eat. So I do that. And then it's not like you're waiting around for too long.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that way you're also
Yeah.
done at a
It
reasonable
was just
time.
like a lot of waiting.
Yeah. But I know it would be a challenge with the run and like the timing for
Yeah.
all of that.
Kobe's
Trying
always
to.
thinking about others. That is why this is my transition. That is why you have the Cliff Family Foundation sponsorship. Yeah, so you have a new design on your helmet. I really like it. I like Pete's too. Like Pete's is actually super cool for a helmet like sponsor. Give us a little rundown on like how that happened. How did Pete become like would you say a mentor in
Yeah.
your life? And what is
Yeah,
the
so we'll start
Cliff
with what the
Family
Cliff Family
Foundation?
Foundation is. It's like after the couple that started Cliff Bar sold it, 10 years ago or however many years ago, they wanted to give back to like the community in the US, and they decided to start a foundation with the money they had from it, and they give a lot of money to like community organizations and like stuff that is pro environment. Like they give grant money to a lot of other foundations and other organizations around the country that do like a lot of organic farming and a lot of like um, wilderness preservation and like community outreach stuff. And they also want to support some athletes because they supported like the Cliff Luna Chicks team, and they had like other sports stuff. Um, so they started supporting Pete. They were with Pete kind of through a lot of his career, and then as he transitioned to gravel, the Cliff Family Foundation came in as like his helmet wrap sponsor and like his co-title sponsor. And they also support like Katarina Nash and like some downhill skiers, and then the crit team. And since Pete's retiring, he's just kind of passing along the sponsorship, like um, yeah, and he picked me. So last year he just like gave me a call in like September and was like, "Oh, this might be a cool opportunity. Let me know what you think." And then from there we just kind of kept talking about it, and yeah, it all worked out really well. So I'm really proud of it. It's something that I really think is cool. Cool helmet design.
Were you close with Pete before that?
So yeah, kind of at the end of Big Sugar in 2024, him and I talked quite a bit because I like had a good race there and I was really proud of it. And I like was trying to figure out what to do for 2025 and just like asked Pete kind of like if he had any advice or like had any like words of wisdom, and he was super helpful. Just like kind of told me sent me in a direction to like try and talk to some people, and was like super happy to help with anything. And then kind of as like 2025 got going, he was like periodically kind of reaching out, seeing how things were. And then after Steamboat, really like we started talking more and more, and he like helped me a lot with figuring out what to do for this year, and that kind of helps manage me a little bit with like Trek and stuff. So it was super helpful. It's just been like a good relationship to get, and I've been really proud of it and really thankful to Pete.
What did he ever? I won't ask the question. Never mind. You know what? I will. Was there any opportunity for you to go to the Canyon all-terrain
Never
team?
quite got to that point. There was some Pete mentioned something about it earlier in the year, but Trek had given me an offer pretty early last year, so I was nervous about like not having anything else. So I figured I would take the Trek offer pretty early, and yeah, it was before Canyon kind of got all their stuff together. Yeah, I've been really
I think it's good in the cycling industry to stay loyal to like the brands that start supporting you early. So
yeah
it's like good that you stuck with Trek, I think.
yeah like through Bear, just like was on Trek, and
Yeah,
then last year as my own like privateer, Trek was able to help me out. So I was like really proud of that and
yeah, that's cool.
really thankful to them. So I figured it was a good thing to stick with Trek.
For sure.
I like the setup.
Besides Trek, the Cliff Family Foundation, I think we touched on that. Continental is one of your
Pro
sponsors.
Zooming
Is there anything
talked
else?
about.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pro. Will there be any other sponsors on your
Mm,
kits for
Morton, I'm working with
2026?
them for fueling stuff. Continental's the team sponsor technically. So is Silka. So yeah, it's a good, nice that I didn't really have to deal with much, and just kind of like the team is dealing with stuff. So yeah, it's been super nice,
Is Silka
nice and
gonna
simple.
take you to the wind tunnel, or do
They
they
took
just like
Paige.
Chase more and
They like
Page?
Chase more.
They like Chase
Yeah.
and Page more than you.
Vintage. Yeah,
Wait, you're
there
the
was
only one
some
that's won
talk
this
about
year.
it.
What's up with that?
Yeah, well, Daxton won. He won the
Oh,
crit.
okay. Yeah, that is true.
Yeah,
Well, he hasn't gone to the
yeah.
wind tunnel either, so
I think we talked about the wind tunnel back in like November, but they never really went anywhere. I wasn't too worried. I
yeah.
figured maybe I'll get in there eventually,
You already
maybe
got the
not.
arrow base layer, so you're fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You don't need
I
no wind
shave my
tunnel.
legs. Yeah.
Dude, you're not gonna test like calf sleeves and a
No.
TT helmet. Like, you got the winning setup already. You don't need to
I still
change
need to be more
anything.
arrow. Looking at the photos and looking at the sprint, I'm not very arrow.
Nah, dude,
Stay
stay
on arrow.
stay upright.
But
It
it's hard
helps
to
with
follow,
breathing.
like following you or following anyone else that's wearing like full arrow stuff is hard.
Chase is
At one
extra
point, you
hard
were
to
in your
follow
TT
because
bars,
he's
and I
like
was struggling.
No.
so little.
Well, at one point, like in kind of that crosswind section, you were on your TT bars. It's just like I was not wanting to be behind you. It was just like I think I was probably doing more power than you were.
Wait, there was it you at one point? Someone like they either like hopped right. I think someone hopped right in front of me because they were like, "I don't want to be
I
behind
think
you
it might have
anymore."
been
Was
me
that you?
You like took
because
your
I would
turn
like,
early.
Yeah, I'm like,
yeah,
dude. I
well, because every time,
yeah, I think it was Alexi wasn't.
yeah, I think like every
Go
time I
ahead.
was on the front, I was maybe doing like 350 watts or something, and then every time I was on your wheel, I was still doing 350 watts. So it was just like doing double turn, not that fun.
Yeah, I think it was you because I think originally
Yeah,
Alexi was in front of me, and Alexi's pretty arrow. So when you wanted to hop in front of me, I'm
yeah,
like, perfect. Kobe has a
yeah.
pretty nice draft. So, or like if I ever see Brennan behind me, I'll always be like, dude, you want to go in front of me? I know my draft is bad because then I get
I love being
Brennan's
behind
draft,
Brennan.
and that's pretty
He
nice.
just gives off a good
Yeah.
draft.
Well, speaking of yeah, your Trek Driftless team, who's your favorite
I'd say
teammate?
Daxton. Just because we were on.
For real? Oh, you're actually gonna.
I mean, we were just like I'm close with all. I'm definitely really close with Toby and Daxton,
Yeah.
and then I like the ladies a lot. They're super nice. But I've just known Daxton for so long, and like we were on Bear together, and we've just like we lived together all winter. Me, him, and Toby did. And I've just like known him for so long. Like we get along well.
From an outside view, it looks like a really fun, like you three guys on the team, Toby, Kobe, Daxton. You three seem like you click really, really well
Yeah.
together
Sorry.
compared to any other team out there. Do you think, yeah, that will help in racing? Just that like partner, that friendship you guys
Yeah.
have?
Sorry, I'm plugging in my computer. Um, yeah, I think we work together. We work together really well. We just like know each other super well. I think it's been really good to just like have that relationship. And I'd say we have fun. We definitely mess around more than I think like Specialized looks so serious and looks like not like a fun environment. And then like Canyon looked super serious and like very German. Um, yeah, I thought it was just kind of fun to like. It seems like we want to race well and we want to do really well, but um, it's just like a good team environment. I've been really happy with it.
Are you worried? Are you worried about the
Did
lunchbox team because they might be the only team having more fun than you guys?
A little bit. You guys seem to like mesh so much better than every other team.
I should say when we're together we have fun, but like we're never together. Where you guys literally live together for the whole
Yeah,
winter. Like that's, I
we
mean,
did spend a lot of time
yeah.
together.
Was there ever any like?
Some would say a bit too much time together, but I think it was good. It was just like we really learned what each other like and what each other like know, and I don't know. I thought it was good. It was fun.
Were you okay? So I never saw pictures of you at the shootout. Do you go to the shootout pretty often?
Yeah, I
Or
went quite a few times.
yeah,
I flattered a few times, like on the way out, just would like hit a nail or something. Um, yeah, I went most of the time when I was there. I thought it's a good workout. It's pretty fun. Um, it's nice to like get kind of the fast and then like the fast punchy stuff, and then there's like a big climb, so you can always get like a big 10-20 minute effort. Um, yeah, it's just good to get the leg speed. Fun to go with like Keegan and everyone else, but I was definitely not as good as Keegan and Toby and some of the other guys were.
you're the only one who's won a bike race out of them.
Russell
So,
has.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, that's true. Okay, but uh, I forgot what I was gonna say.
Chase, tell us about your wind
dang it.
tunnel experience with
Yeah, I
Silka,
want to know
because
more
we
about
touched
that.
on that a minute ago. I was making
You
that
want
transition.
okay? Wait, what do you guys want to know about it? What the
Tell us your top
yeah?
two
What questions do we have?
aero gains. Top two. You can only pick
My
two
top
things to talk
two.
about.
Actually, one of them, maybe Kobe was onto something. The oh wait, never mind. My long sleeve skin suit saved me. Oh boy, 25 watts compared to
What was
baseline.
baseline? Like a flannel button up?
Yeah.
No, my baseline was my normal skin
That's
suit.
crazy.
That's the weird thing. The only thing that so this testing was done at 30 miles per hour. So the testing like at
Less.
gravel speeds would be a little less. But the only thing that's different with the long sleeve is compared to what the baseline was. Obviously, it's long sleeve. So I had Bora copy a lot of how the Olympic skin suits were made, where like the forearm was a smooth material, and then the bicep was like the ribbed material, and the ribs on my long sleeve skin suit are wider than they are on my baseline. So I also tested a short sleeve skin suit with wide ribs, and that also tested faster than my baseline, but only by like 9 watts. So, and then yeah, smooth. What I'm gonna have to go back to Bora is I have a smooth skin suit with a different material, and that tested faster than actually my other skin suit with rib sleeves, but the other material everywhere. So we found out what material is probably quicker on me and what ribbing is better. So that was one of the biggest takeaways. And then the second one was the 30 centimeter drop, or the 30 centimeter handlebars with drops saved me
Over
16 watts
or
over a
wow,
33
that's a lot.
with no drops.
That's a lot.
So, but Trey, I rode with you the next day, and you saw how I was
Those bars
handling
were
the bike.
so narrow.
So I need a. I also had a different tire, and I had a weird rear wheel on. So
I think those bars will be good for
yeah,
like
gotta
Gravel Worlds and Unbound, but not for a lot of other races.
yeah. Oh, and then actually, so I posted on my story yesterday how I'll probably be running the Abus Game Changer TT helmet more, because that saved me 23 watts at 50 miles per hour. And Daxton, messages me saying like I'm gonna be chirping you more if you wear that thing, and then I told him I won't be able to hear you because my ears are covered with the TT helmet.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, calf sleeves were 25 watts.
So if you add up all your
So,
savings,
you're
going to save like 175 watts. So you only have to pedal like 25 watts to go
it's
50K an hour. Is that mathing?
Yeah. No, because my baseline CVA is super bad. My baseline was worse than Cam Jones's baseline.
That's not good because you're like half the height of Cam Jones.
Yeah. I don't know what information I can share about Cam, so I'm just going to leave it at that my baseline is
Sounds
worse
like
than
Cam's baseline is pretty aero then, because you were already a pretty aero guy.
Yeah. He also did, well, Cobe has seen this. Cam can just hold his elbows at 90 degrees the whole entire race, or puppy paws. So in the wind tunnel, he had his elbows at 90 degrees, and my baseline was pretty straight arms, because I was like, I can't hold my elbows at 90 degrees for 2 to 3 hours.
Cobe, how often do you practice riding like super aero, like in puppy paws?
I try.
You try.
I don't do it as much as I probably should. Like 2 years ago, I used to do like aero tempo. So I'd like go do a tempo workout and just try and ride like as aero as I could. And it helped a bit, but I still wouldn't like, I try sometimes. My forearms just get really tired. Like my back hurts and like my whole body just doesn't like it.
What's your least favorite piece of tech someone wears or uses? And then what's your favorite piece of tech that you use?
I think my least favorite is like the full calf sleeves. I just think they look kind of dumb.
I agree with you.
Like it was just, it pained me looking at Adam Robert's the whole race.
It looks way worse on Adam than it does on Chase too. I think it's because Adam has like
so
such
tall,
long legs. It just looks weird.
Yeah, I don't like the way it looks. It's cool that it's faster and it's good that it's faster, but the way it looks is pretty funny. Something that I like.
Wait, hold on. I was telling Cam the whole time he was in the wind tunnel, I'm like, dude, test my calf sleeves. And he's like, sorry. Cam's like super nice. And he's just like, sorry, I know it's probably faster, but there's a line of like looking good, and I'm not willing to like put the calf sleeves on, even if it
also
does
he
make
knows his
faster.
calves.
Yeah,
oh,
I
sorry,
agree with
go
him
ahead,
on
Cobe.
I say I agree with him on that.
Yeah, he has too nice of calves to cover up. He doesn't want to hide those things.
Okay, favorite piece of tech.
Favorite piece of tech. I don't know. It's kind of hard. I like the ribbed sleeves. Like I like kind of the base layer, or like if a skin suit has the ribbed sleeves. It's just kind of like it's not a lot of work on my part, and I can like don't have to worry too much. Or like a shoe covers or like a lace-up shoe. I like that. Just kind of a nice, simple, easy, faster.
Does the Pearl Izumi skin suit have rib sleeves?
Yeah, the new stuff will.
Dude, because I heard Paige was telling me how they have like fitters for the pro athletes. Does Pearl Izumi do that, or is it just kind of, here's the off-the-shelf medium skin suit customized for you?
It was kind of like
with your
whatever medium skin suit, but I could extend the length of stuff. And that's what I did for MAP last year too. Like I was able to do like longer arms, longer legs, and I think did longer jersey. Um, but yeah, it wasn't like fully like they went and measured me. Like I guess they might do for Matt or other people they will do.
Sweet. Um. Okay. Any other tech
The
talk?
only other tech talk that we had was
Okay.
it's surprising we haven't talked about these yet because they've been around for like literally a year now. The specialized unreleased gravel wheels that like Sophia and Keegan's been running them recently since switching to specialized, and Matt Beers had them a lot last year. Their new gravel wheel. I don't know if they've all been running like the same prototype or what you want to call it, but they definitely have some new gravel wheels coming, and they all look to be carbon spokes. What do we think about those? Because I'm sure we've all seen them.
Wait, I want to ask Kobe, and maybe he can't answer. Have you seen the new Specialized Crux in Tucson?
I have not seen it. Um,
No.
yeah, I haven't looked that closely, but the carbon spokes is really interesting. I don't know. I don't know how much you guys follow mountain bike stuff, but if you saw Christopher Blevins this past weekend at Fayetteville, his wheel was exploded, no spokes on it. So
I did notice last year,
yeah,
Whoa.
Sophia and Matt, neither one of them were running the carbon spoke mountain bike wheels at the races, and I would assume it is to avoid exploding spokes because they don't have a mechanic in the pit once per lap like in World Cups.
Wait, Kobe, do you have bird spokes on?
on one set of wheels I do.
Which
I was gonna race them for Midsouth, but I couldn't fit them in my bike bag, so I ended up just racing
Okay.
normal spokes. But I like them. I think they ride really well. Good
did
vibration
you know
dampening.
Chase tested them in the wind
I
tunnel?
did wind tunnel test those.
I know some numbers behind
Are we
them.
allowed to talk about that, Chase?
Wait, did you get my numbers on my bird spokes?
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay. Oh, wait, what numbers did you? If you can share,
I
do you
don't know
know?
if I'm allowed to share. I bet you're allowed to share.
Okay. Yeah, I'll share. So they were, again, this was at 50
50K.
miles per hour, which is 50K an hour. Sorry. Wheels. So this was on I should say on a road wheel set with 45 millimeter tires that tested actually the same. The bladed spokes tested the same as a gravel wheel set. Bird spokes were 6 watts slower for me. So, and this was just the wheel in the wind tunnel. So, yeah, I'm not partnered with Bird anymore, but I still think they're a great addition to have on the wheel set. Just knowing this data, I think I may run Bird spokes only on the rear tire or rear wheel if I ever have that opportunity, since they won't be touching or hitting the air first like
I think they make
front
sense
wheel
for
would.
like steeper climbing races and stuff, but maybe not super fast races that are going to have like high average speeds, knowing that data.
I think the perfect setup is, at least for the rear, is a rear wheel with bird spokes and a disc cover.
Nah, that's crazy.
Sounds rough in a crosswind.
I've had that before actually.
Kobe,
It works really well.
Do you know about
I think people.
Daxton's disc wheel last year? I think at Gravel Worlds he ran it.
Yeah, I know. He was super stoked on it, and then I think like he was once telling me something about like in the wind, it was just like horrible to ride, just like getting blown around. I mean, as even riding deep wheels, like I don't feel super comfortable on deep wheels on gravel. Just like if it's windy or like super crosswindy, I just like you just kind of slide along the side of the road. So I think if it's no wind, a deep wheel or like a full disc wheel would be pretty sweet. But if it's windy or really climby, it would be a bit rough.
What wheels are you on this year?
Sweet. Trait.
I'm running the Bontrager wheels.
What are they called?
Yeah,
Aeolus.
the Aeolus.
Are they like G something?
Aeolus
Oh,
37V
yeah.
RSL.
Cool.
Yeah.
Trek doesn't have any carbon spokes.
Yeah, they're nice,
coming
consistent.
For you.
I don't know. I haven't been told.
Sure. Yeah.
Next race, he's pulling up on 32-inch gravel tires with carbon spokes.
No.
Bladed carbon spoke, and then a bird spoke on the
just
next,
alternating carbon spokes.
So you get the best of both.
That rotation.
That makes sense. Any other tech stuff before we get into listener questions?
Cobe probably can't talk about any more tech stuff.
I might have shared too much.
Wait, how many do you get to do a lot of input with Trek on like gear?
Yeah. So I've done like I've done mountain bike test stuff with them in the past. So I've only done mountain bike input stuff. But I would like to do more gravel input stuff. There's some things that I would like to see.
That's like, sorry.
Do you work with? Who's the Trek guy out in Durango that does a lot of the design and testing for them?
So Travis Brown is he was a pro for a long time. Went to the Olympics in like 2000. Super good, innovative, super smart mountain bike guy. And then the engineer, Alex Martin, used to live in Durango, but he moved back to Wisconsin.
Has your testing been with Travis or just on your own?
Yeah, with Travis. Yeah.
Trey hit us with some listener questions.
We have a lot, so we're not going to go through all of them. This is definitely the most we've ever had, Chase. One of them isn't a question. Wow. Somebody was just letting us know that they ordered Amsoil Mudslinger because you recommended it, Chase.
Yes.
So you have influence. So it's time to
reach
out to Amsoil for the sponsorship because people are buying it because of you.
Cobe,
what is that stuff?
If there's ever a muddy race, just look up Amsoil Mudslinger. Just carry it in your van or have the Trek people put it on like in their suitcase. And whenever it's a muddy race or not, because it helps with like just debris not getting on your bike, put that stuff on your bike and we can break away together
it's
in
like
any mud section.
Pam on your bike so mud doesn't stick to it. It's basically what it is.
Yeah,
it's
I've done that. In muddy crosses.
So Chase, somebody wants to know if you change your position when using aero bars. I don't think you do you? You just slap the aero bars on there?
Yeah, I don't change my position. The handlebars I do use are 36 centimeter bars when I have my aero bars on. Yeah, just because that's all that I have that fits the aero bars.
Somebody asked,
NV
AR40s or SCS 3.4s. I'll just go ahead and answer that. The AR40s is like a budget-friendly 40 mil deep wheel set that is heavier than the NV 3.4s. That's the main difference, is just the weight. This person's asking about music. I don't think that sounds fun to answer.
No, bring the music.
What
questions that
album are you
Kobe can
putting on
answer
during
also.
your workout? I don't know any album names.
I don't ride with music.
8 Mile by Eminem.
I also don't know. It's not a bad one. I don't listen to a lot of music these days when I ride. Just
Do
like
you just let Spotify
silence.
like
Frozen
shuffle
gravel
a random
underdogs.
playlist? That's usually what I do.
Sometimes, if I do listen to music, I'll like either have like a playlist that's like an hour long, and then it'll eventually just like
Yeah,
become
yeah.
Spotify shuffling random stuff. But no albums.
Best bang for buck gravel wheel set. Kobe hit us with it. I bet Trek is a great place to look
I
for a
don't know.
budget gravel wheel set.
Yeah,
The non probably I bet they have a non
some
RSL of
Aeolus
exactly
37
what
feet.
you're running.
Yeah, they have like I think it's a
Yeah.
thermoplastic version. It's pretty good. I think I ran it last year. Never broke it, so that's good. I thought I would have broken it.
Yeah.
Just like riding a ton of single track, smashing through rocks on
And then
a gravel
Chase, you're
bike.
running the NBA R40s, which are like $1,200 or $1,400, which in the world of carbon wheel sets is pretty budget.
Dude,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm running the budget wheel set, and
They're
I
good
like the
wheels.
hub sound. If that,
Okay.
Yeah.
We had a lot of questions about the wind tunnel, but I'm just assuming we answered all of them already. What gravel XC shoes do you guys recommend? I don't know like the models, but I have a pair of the Quack shoes and the Shimano S-Fire mountain bike and gravel shoes. Those are my 3 go-tos.
Kobe.
I use the Trek shoes. It's kind of all I've used for the last few years. I like them. They're comfortable.
I only use road shoes, so
Never mountain bike shoes.
never mountain bike shoes. Even when
Oh,
I'm on the mountain bike, if I'm
You're
racing, it's
crazy.
road shoes.
well, with road pedals, or do you have the adapter?
No, with road pedals.
What about like a muddy?
Do you wait?
I
Do
don't
you
know. I don't know
I
if
claim
you
to
ride
can.
a
be bad
Lauf.
at mountain biking?
Yeah.
Yes.
Me?
Me
Oh,
or
Chase.
Chase?
Which one of us?
Well,
I think
Yeah,
it's
I'm not good at
probably
mountain
because you're using
biking.
road shoes on the mountain bike. It makes a big difference. I think you need, yeah,
Does it?
yeah.
it's way more
I
comfortable.
think the extra float just like helps you handle the bike like 10 times better because you can kind of like turn your body just a little bit more
Okay.
going in and out of turns and stuff.
I'm
I think
sponsored by
Lake
Lake, so
could get you
They
some
make
mountain
I'm
mountain
bike
bike
gonna.
shoes.
shoes.
Yeah, they make
And
mountain
then
bike
you
shoes.
can go to the bicyclestation.com
Dude, they
and get some Shimano XCR pedals or something. I'll let you borrow a pair of mine.
I have my Look mountain
Oh,
bike
there you go.
pedals. I
You
like
use those?
I ride unless like
You just never use them.
yeah, if it's a race I'm putting yeah, I just never use them. I use them like riding the trails around here, which is not
I think
very
you need to
often.
practice with
But
them.
I'm getting the Lauf
There
E
you go.
mountain bike.
Throw those Look
I'll
mountain
put
bike pedals
mountain
on
bike
there
pedals
and
on
get to
that.
practicing. That way you can like that bike will be really good for like overcooking turns and stuff. So you'll have to learn real quick. Last question here. We may have already talked about this a little bit, but what is our race morning prep? And then they said food ? And warm-ups ? I know Kobe, you talked about some pancakes and oatmeal. Let's say if the race is at a normal time, like 9 a.m., what are you doing?
Yeah, I'll wake up 3 hours before, or like 3 hours 15 minutes before. Usually have big bowl of oatmeal. Um, Maybe have some water also in the mornings. Pretty good. Um, I like yerba
I don't
mate
even know
instead
what
of
that
coffee.
is.
Um,
I
That
don't know
sounds
what
so
that is.
granola.
it's like it's very, very Colorado, Durango. Um, if you ever see like the yellow cans in like a gas station or
Lemon
something,
flavored monster. Is that
um,
what you're talking
so it's like some
about?
caffeine. Not quite. Um, yeah, so I'll have one of those, and then usually have like electrolytes or something like that. Sometimes warm up, sometimes
Did
not.
you warm up before Midsouth?
Yeah,
Try and keep
no.
it pretty mellow. Uh, Dax and I rode from the house to the start, which was like 10 minutes, and then we like rode around um, the neighborhood for like another 10 minutes. It's like
That's a
maybe
warm up.
15,
That
20
counts.
minutes.
Yeah.
It was, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, more than I do for some
Chase, what
races.
about you? Pre-race.
Wait, I want to ask, are you putting anything in your oatmeal?
Yeah, I'll usually put like some kind of dried fruit or like something. It won't just be straight oats. Yeah, it depends on kind of what we have at the house, like, or whatever I have. Yeah, dried fruit is good, like dried cranberries or dried cherries, and then maybe like some honey. Um, yeah, maybe some granola too. They get some
I'm
crunch in it.
always I'm always curious how people end up on oatmeal because isn't fiber not good to have like right before the bike race?
I guess, but I also eat oatmeal pretty much every day, so it's
I think
like,
you
Oh,
get
okay.
used to it. Yeah.
Stomach's
yeah,
just used to it.
yeah, yeah. I think it might help. I don't know. It does like I guess it slows down carb absorption sometimes,
That could be good.
but seems to be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, when you're sponsored by Morton, nothing is stopping the carb absorption from that.
You can eat so
What's your
much.
favorite? Do you just like mash up your chocolate bars and that's your oatmeal? Because that's oats, right? Or that's
Yeah, it is
rice.
oats. It's like oats and rice.
Oh,
That would be interesting. They're kind of dense. Like they're pretty
yeah.
dense bars. Um, I like them. They're good. They're solid.
Dude, when I was sponsored by Morton, I would get a shipment of those and just run through the box within a couple of days. They're so good.
Couple of days.
I'm like a ride, not just like
Okay, okay.
sitting at
Just like
home, like
casually.
just. No, I save like the tub of ice cream for when I'm off the bike. My breakfast is frosted flakes with cinnamon. Yep.
Why cinnamon?
Just it adds a little bit of like flavor to it, I guess. I also have
Yeah.
pumpkin spice, like uh, like it's like nutmeg, cinnamon. I forget
I
what
put
else,
cinnamon
but yeah,
in my oatmeal.
that's
It's good.
I choose frosted flakes because it has no fiber, and then yeah, the rest of the morning is uh I know it's probably going to be a good race if I have 3 or more bathroom visits. If it's 2 or less, I get pretty worried. And usually I only wake up 2 hours before the race because the cereal's pretty
Chase, do you have
digests pretty
caffeine
quick.
before races?
No, because caffeine doesn't
Really?
do anything to my body, or like doesn't I don't feel anything when
You
I
need
take
to take
caffeine.
more.
600
I've
Maybe
like
you need
milligrams.
to try the yerba mate.
I. Is there caffeine in yerba mate?
Yeah. It's like
Yeah.
It's pretty
150
good.
milligrams. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if that's gonna do anything. Cause yeah, I found this out because I would take like 200 milligrams of caffeine pills right before one of my classes in college because I was always falling asleep during it, and I just kept falling asleep. And then, yeah, I realized on the bike it does nothing. Driving home at midnight, it does nothing. So
That's crazy. I'm sorry.
yeah,
That's wild.
but you can blame my mom. It does nothing for her too.
That's
So it's a
interesting.
genetic
You should get
thing.
that tested. Wow.
I guess it's
Yeah,
nice.
I don't even know how you would, but you should try. All right, guys. Anything else you want to talk about before we close this down? Yeah, we
thanks
really
for joining,
appreciate
Cobe.
you hopping on.
Yeah, thank
our
you.
first guest of the pod. Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks everybody for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Wait, if they're still listening and wanna follow Cobe, what's your Instagram?
My Instagram is Cobe.free, COBE.FREE.
What's your YouTube channel?
And then what's your Strava?
I have a YouTube channel with like
Everyone
one
go
video
watch
on it.
Kobe's YouTube channel.
I think it's just Cobe Freeburn. I think it's my video from World Championships.
That'll
in
be
Belgium.
a good one. Definitely go watch that.
Whoa, 23 minutes long.
Yeah.
We'll put it in
Do you think you'll start a YouTube channel? Do you think you'll upload more this year?
No, probably not.
Oh.
Maybe.
You
We'll
guys, the Trek Driftless team needs like a behind the scenes video, or like you guys should make
we
videos.
have
I
one.
feel like it. Yeah,
Yeah.
you?
So like the Lando, our videographer photographer guy, is like making a video for Trek for like first half of the year, and like another one for like second half of the year. So he's getting a lot of footage. Maybe I'll ask him if he can
He
just
needs
send
to
me
be
some of it.
posting like every race.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what I was hoping for, but I guess
That's how you get
they
the
want to do like
fans.
some long form thing.
Or you just have good race results, which
Yeah, that's
if
what we
you,
need.
that works too.
I think I'd
Yeah.
rather try and grow with like I think the
Yeah,
post race
I think
video
so.
seems to work pretty well for everyone else.
Sweet.
More relevant
Thank
than
you,
like
Cobe.
looking back. Yeah, thank you.
Talk to you at Seattle.
Yep.
If you
sounds
win
good.
again, will you join us again?
Yeah.
Now you
I don't
gotta
think I'll
say-
win
you
again,
gotta
but yeah.
believe.
You got this. You beat Cam Jones. You're as good as your last result. You beat the
Yeah,
guy who
but-
won the Lifetime Grand Prix.
I still got to race
You-
Keegan and Matt.
Dude, Cam Jones, last time he raced Keegan, beat Keegan. He didn't
That's
beat
true.
Matt, though, so I guess that's...
Yeah.
You got
Yeah.
this.
All right. Well, we'll keep in touch.
All
See
right.
if it goes that way. All right. Well, thank you guys.